On this episode of the Poker Live podcast, we are going to be discussing Cate Hall's upcoming heads up for rolls kind of battle with Mike Dentale. We'll also be talking about her Australian adventures, and we'll be talking about all sorts of kind of stuff me and Cate Hall would talk about today on the Poker Live podcast. That's it. That's my new something. I'm working on this, guys. Welcome to the Poker Live podcast. My name's Jose Ingram, aka Chicago Joey. Podcasting tomorrow. Me and Doug Polk are going to be doing one tomorrow evening. We're going to be talking about all this crazy stuff that's been happening with this 500K story with, I don't really know what else is on my mind. Dan Bilzerian being a professional poker player now on YouTube. And we'll probably be talking a little bit about the upcoming heads up challenge between our guest today, Cate Hall, the king, one of the favorites to get on the podcast, and her upcoming opponent, the nicest man in poker, Mike Dentale. So, Cate, welcome to the pod, man. Welcome to the pod.
Hey.
How are you doing over there, Cate? You're in Australia
Great.
right now. You're with our young friend Samantha Abernathy. You're with your, I don't know. Can we say the other person you're with too? Is that secret or public?
I think that you probably think I'm with somebody that I'm not. Are you talking about James?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm staying with James, but our internet wasn't working, so I'm at Sam's now to do the pod. I drove over here, but yes, you can say that.
Okay, we got to talk about how it's possible for you to drive in Australia, because when I lived there, I would have been terrified to drive on the opposite side of the road. It sounds terrifying, especially going through all the swerving. I don't know what they're called, but what are they called? Roundabouts?
The roundabouts.
The roundabouts.
Yeah.
I would have been terrified driving through a roundabout on Australia on the other side of the road. You guys are. Well, Sam crashed the car, right? Sam, I saw a picture. She flattened a tire. I don't know what I could see Sam. We're going to go drive. Oh, shit. Okay. I mean, something like that, right?
Yeah. I gave Sam my keys to drive from her place over to Crown, which is like a mile drive or something. And she crashed the car on the way.
Dare I say, not GTO right there, man. But yeah, guys, we are here. We're live. I see a bunch of people in the chat. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Cate, let's get down to business. Let's talk about what everyone wants to know about. And that is, what color is your hair right now? And where is the blue or the green or the purple? What are we working with right now, Catherine?
It's actually like reddish pink. Okay. It's just a little bit hard to see in this light, but I've got some stuff in there, yeah.
All right.
I don't think I'll ever do blue again. It's not the best for me.
Some of those pictures with you in blue hair on Google Images. Jonah, by the way, when you make a thumbnail for this, Cate says use a good picture of her that I always use deathly photos of her on the upper YouTube stuff. So Jonah, you're in the chat. Make sure you pick a beautiful picture of Catherine for the thumbnail for this. But yeah, so no more blue hair, huh? Now you're with the fire.
Yeah. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. I like the blue though. I think the blue was cool. A little like a little something. I don't know what. A little something. But
it was cool. It just looked horrible on me.
No, I mean, well, maybe you need to get a tan. The tan and the blue hair, maybe that might have been the thing.
Maybe, yeah.
So, all right, Cate, we got to talk about it. What's up with this challenge? You and Mike Dentale. So I did a video about it where I investigated the thing, which I personally love that video. Shout out to me for that video, man. That was great stuff. and then we had Mike Dentale on the podcast, man. And I gotta say, Cate, some people like Mike Dentale on the podcast. They said we had enough of this. I don't know what they call it. I don't know what they call the other side. We've had enough of the PC world in poker. We want Mike Dentale, king of poker. And then now you guys are battling. You're playing. What's happening with all this, man? What's going on?
I don't know. He's just this clown who's had it out for me for no particular reason since I started playing poker, and just, wants to be on Twitter mocking hands that I misplay, like he's never misplayed a hand. It's just kind of like, I don't know why he singled me out. Presumably it's because he doesn't agree with my politics and he doesn't appreciate the attention that I've gotten, which he thinks is disproportionate to my ability, which has probably been true at times. But he's just really been coming after me. And I had this hand at the Bellagio 5 Diamond this year where I made a really unusual play and knew that it was going to look really bad at the time that I did it. And sort of like tried to preempt it by going on Twitter and saying, I played this hand, I know how bad it looks, whatever. But he still was on Twitter, like mocking it. And I just thought, like, this guy is just a clown. He's not that good at poker. He takes himself way too seriously. And I feel good enough about my ability relative to his that I would be willing to play him. So why don't I just say that?
Technically, that's not what you said, Cate. You said,
bro, you do a lot of talking.
We'll play heads up. Fucking, I don't know what was being said. There was a lot of things more than there was a lot of bitch involved. There was a lot of vulgar words that I mean, me seeing, I don't like, I just didn't understand. So why did it have to get that intense? Why did it have to get so why did it have to get to where it got to, right? Like, why did that have to go to that point? Were you trying to get action from him or something like that? Or what was it?
Yeah. The reason that I went that direction and was calling him a bitch and stuff is because he's the kind of guy who is super insecure in his masculinity. And I knew that he would respond to that by doing what I wanted him to, which is playing me heads up. So if you just like insult his ability or, play by his terms, he's going to say a lot of stuff, but he's never going to back it up. He has a history of like agreeing to play heads up and then flaking. But if you like call him a woman, basically, he's just going to go ballistic and not be able to help himself. So that was like my strategy, and it worked.
I'm really liking this these nails here. Can you show us these nails? Nails are sick. Hold on a second. All right, I'm digging these nails. A little off top, a lot straight. The nails, the hair. Listen, I'm in, man. I don't know. I can't help myself. But okay, so you're calling him a woman. You're calling him a bitch. There's some other things being back and forth. Words are said. And then you guys end up talking about heads up for rolls, and then that somehow comes to 3 heads ups, freeze outs on Poker Night in America. How'd that happen?
Matt Glantz got involved, and he was like, "We should televise this. We'll put together a production if you want to do it on there." And it seemed like a good idea to me. Yeah, so it sounds really fun, honestly, to do it for TV. I wanted to play bigger than we're playing, but Mike didn't want to, so we're playing for $15K, a freeze out. I'm doing 3 of them.
So a lot of people said, are you guys going to have all your action in this thing? So is this something where you're going to have all your action, or are you going to be selling action? Because they said, why would you want to play bigger if they're going to sell action for something like this?
Yeah, well, so if we play for $15K, I will quite likely have all of my own action. I might sell a little bit of it, but like it's within my bankroll to play for all of it, so I might. The only reason I might not is just because variance is really high in heads up, and it feels a little gambly, but it's possible that I still will. The idea of playing bigger is just like, it shouldn't actually matter whether I'm playing for $15K in a $10K freeze out or $15K in a $50K freeze out in terms of like the significance of it. The reason to play bigger is that it looks more interesting for TV, because playing for like $50K is just more interesting to home viewers who don't understand like the economics of poker matches than playing for $15K is. Mm-hmm. And like we're both equally capable of selling action, so I didn't understand why it would be a problem to play bigger, but he didn't want to.
Mm. Well, yeah, I think he talked about that. He said he didn't want to sell. I don't know. I'm sure he could have sold some action. I'm sure it could have happened somehow. So I guess we settled on the format. It's going to be on Poker Night in America in March, with Matt Glantz is going to be there wearing a Don King wig for his role in this as the Mike Tyson's promoter of the poker world right now. Shout out to Matt Glantz. And then it'll be 3 matches. What's the format for this? How is the format going to be working for this?
So we have a format that we've agreed on. I think that it's not actually final yet because Matt has gotten some feedback from people with heads up experience that it might be a little bit too extended.
Too global poker league-ish, or too long?
No, too long.
Oh, okay. Anti-Global
So
Poker League. Okay.
yeah, what we settled on was 5,100, just like keeping the blinds at 5,100 the whole time, and so 150 big blinds deep, and just playing until somebody has all the money in each case. And somebody estimated that could take like between 4 to 6 hours per match, and since we have 8 hours to film, it's probably gonna be too long. So we might adjust the structure a little bit and change it to like 100 big blinds deep, but that will be up to Matt and the production crew, and I'll just do whatever is necessary.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be a ton of variance in that situation. I mean, it almost seems like, yeah, I guess I would just talk to Doug about this. Before I even put any thought into this, I would just message Doug and be like, hey, Doug, well, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, actually. Never mind. Me and Doug will talk about it.
You guys can sort it out. It's also
I mean, we haven't actually talked about anything about this privately yet. So I'm kind of curious what he thinks the best format for something like this would be, because in this, we kind of want to see with some skill involved. We want to see the better player come off, when it's 100 big blinds deep. It might be a kings versus queens situation or something like that. And then that person wins. And yeah, I feel like there's probably some way, but as you mentioned, there's only 8 hours. There's got to be 3 matches. So it might just not be possible.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm sure that Doug will be a good person to give advice on that. And I know that Jason Moe is doing the same with Matt. So whatever they decide is good.
Wait, JMo's the heads up liaison for this match.
I have no idea. I just know that Matt got some feedback from him and is going to make some changes to the structure, possibly based on that. But
okay, so you saw JMo's offer to you. He said he would do acid and Molly and play you heads up.
Yeah.
When will this are we gonna make this happen in the summer?
Well, he said that he would do 150 milligrams of acid, which would, I think, just you would not be able to have coherent thoughts at that level of acid. So I told him that I'd be willing to do that. Then he said he would do 150 micrograms, and I'm honestly unsure whether I would beat him if he were on Molly and acid. I think there's a real shot that I wouldn't. And
for the fans, do it for the fans, right?
I mean, it does sound interesting. I have no idea how your ability to reason about poker would be affected by being on acid, really, if you're a really good poker player, which he obviously is.
Yeah, one way to find out, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if he'd actually do it. Also, JMo likes to. I mean, he might. He's crazy.
He likes to talk.
Yeah, he's a little crazy for sure. Someone in the chat, Liquor says, "Pop, people used to lose their fucking house on heads up for rolls. Where is this headed to?" No, that's actually not true. So I think people like to romanticize how old school heads up for rolls matches were back in the day. And those matches actually never took place that way. Even a lot of the heads up matches that did go down, no one was really going for their fucking roll. Maybe some crazy those mid stakes guys might have been, but at the high stakes, you didn't really see. I think it's a little over dramatized in terms of how many actual heads up for rolls matches were happening at some point in time. So I don't know. Cate, you ever heard of a heads up for roll match happening?
I've heard fables of it. I actually don't. I don't know.
Right? Exactly. You hear these massive. And we know Viffer's played heads up for rolls numerous times. Yes, of course, Viffer talked about those stories in the podcast. But maybe Viffer might have played some heads up for rolls. That I could definitely see him doing some crazy stuff like that. So match going down. Doug, so what's up with this commentary stuff? So you didn't Jared Jaffe? If he commentated, what was this? You didn't want to play? What was up with that? What was happening with that?
It's just like this situation with Jared actually kind of pissed me off because so the situation was Matt Glantz asked if he could be a commentator in addition to Doug Polk, and I said, yeah, that's fine. We haven't always gotten along in the past, but I think that he'll be professional on the stream, whatever. Then I saw somebody trying to bet, Charlie Carroll was trying to bet on me on this match, and Jared was offering to take any action on Mike. And so I messaged Matt and just said since Jared is trying to bet on Mike, I would prefer it if we had somebody else doing commentary, for the same reason that I I voluntarily said my own friends should not be doing the commentary. I don't think that Jared, if he has like an interest in the game, should be doing it, because he wouldn't be sort of even-handed about it. I never said I'm not going to play if he is the person. I just said, can we discuss other possibilities? And so Matt went on Twitter and asked people for options. Sean Deeb was one of the people that was suggested quite a bit, and we all agreed that Sean Deeb would be good. So
all right, you might need to go out and come back into the chat because your robot voice took over.
Me?
Yeah, go out and come back in.
Okay, let's see.
Wait, it might be done. Talk again. Oh, wait, never mind. Shout outs. All right, the robot's here. Guys, we got a lot of people in the chat. What's going on? Welcome to the show. Who we got in the chat? My buddy Lee Jan. What up, Liam Puppy? Ryan Banu Golf. Oh, she's back. I love that picture. Some GTO. Can you guys see the picture of her? Oh, hello.
Hey.
Okay, let's try this again. Oh my God, it got worse, I think. Talk again.
Yep.
It's a little laggy right now.
Okay, do you want to, what should I do? I can hear you perfectly, and the image is really good.
Yeah, it's all right, guys. We're live. You know, sometimes these things happen. This is what happens when you do a live podcast and you don't edit things out. So I'm stalling for time. Hope it gets better. Let's try them again.
Yeah. So should I do the whole thing again?
No, it's good. It sounds good now. Yeah. So we heard the part about Jared. Okay. Then you talked about Sean on Twitter. Sean, and then Matt Glantz asked for people. And I know my name was thrown in there, and I'm so happy that I certainly was not. I didn't want to do heads up Nolan Holm commentary. So I'm happy that Sean Deeb was the person that was chosen here.
I think you and Sean were the two people whose names, other than Jared, that I saw the most. And so everybody was fine with Sean doing it, and so we decided to have him do it. Then Jared went on Twitter and said that I was refusing to play if he was the commentator, which is just I don't know what kind of importance you think that you have to make some false claim like that. It was just it was genuinely really irritating, because I feel like this is what I said in response to it. I understand that a lot of people don't like me. And I know that, and I understand at least some of the reasons for that. It really annoys me when people accuse me of dishonesty, because I have all sorts of personality flaws, but I feel like I'm a pretty honest person. And I don't really lie about stuff. And so when he said this about me, I was just I was pretty irritated by it. And then a couple days later, it occurred to me that I actually had text message conversations with Matt that would show that everything that I had said was accurate. So I eventually posted those to Twitter, and he was just didn't really back down about it, which is just okay, you're a delusional person, and I don't have any time for you. But that's sort of the story. I was never going to refuse to play if he was doing the commentary. I just asked Matt if we could have somebody else, because Jared was trying to bet on Mike.
Well, I think everyone in the chat is going to know that the best commentary is going to be done by myself and Samantha Abernathy on Twitch anyway. So, I think people are going to be watching the match on mute. They're going to be watching me and Sam doing our own commentary for the match anyway. So shout out to me and Sam. You guys
have you revealed those plans yet? What'd
you say?
Have you revealed those plans yet?
I mean, they were rough plans. You never know with me and Sam. I mean, literally, who knows why I don't, It's I take my life hour by hour. Sam literally takes her life minute by minute. So who knows what will happen in March, if we'll even be alive or something like that. But there's a very good chance that we're going to be doing a drinking live stream heads up match commentary. And we will be, I'll be I think Jared could still bet on the match and still be biased in the match. Why does he, I think he still is going to call a play a good play or a bad play. It's not even if he bets on things. Yeah,
it's totally possible. It's if he was the only good option, I would have been fine with it. But he and I have not gotten along in the past. I just thought, it's fine. He'll still be professional about it. Then in addition to that, I saw him trying to bet on Mike. And when there are many other options who I don't have these concerns about, there's just no reason to not pick like one of the other many qualified people to do it instead. It wouldn't have been a big deal if he was like the only good option, but like, why not just have Sean D, who I don't have these issues with, do it instead, because he's going to be at least as good as Jared.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to hear. I'm going to be very interested to hear Doug and Sean D talking heads up, no limit strategy. Oh my God. Maybe I'm going to watch that strategy just because I can't not even imagine what Doug's going to be. I can't even.
It's going to be really entertaining.
Oh my God. I can't even. Guys, if you're looking for some place to bet, you can check out my buddy Timex Mike McDonald's site, pokershares.com. PokerShares. Put in the affiliate code PUPPY. You get $2,000 free. And if you don't, you can make a thread in 2+2 and tell him that Mike is going to scam you out of $2,000 for signing up the affiliate code POPPY. PokerShares. I'm kidding. That's not a real thing. I just saw a thread in NVG about this. So did you see this? Did you see PokerShares, Cate? Did you see the site? You can bet on players. You can buy pieces of them for markup and stuff. What do you think about that site? You and Mike Dentale matches on there. I believe you're currently the favorite. Yeah, I think you're the favorite right now.
Sweet. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I don't know that much about the site. I saw that it exists, and I saw that Timex is affiliated with it, but I haven't actually like explored the site myself. So I'm curious to do that. I didn't realize that it was live yet, actually. Yeah. What kind of odds am I getting?
Listen, I don't know. He's using a different metric system. I don't know how to sports bet. I don't know how to bet on things. Luckily for myself, I'm not Mark Klang. Shout out to Mark Klang. Shout out to losing 500K allegedly, or the 500K drama. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, I don't really know how it works, but I think you're the favorite, and someone in the chat might tell me. So, but yeah, you can't bet on there if you live in the United States, unfortunately. So I don't know, but yeah, you can check it out. If anyone wants more action, they can go to the site and they can go check it out. So,
yeah, I saw a couple Twitter polls about who people thought I would win, and they favored me, which is like, that agreeing to do this match is like kind of a negative free roll, I think, because I'm perceived as the better player, and there's really high variance and heads up, and I could easily lose even if I have an edge. So it's probably not the smartest thing for me to do, but I thought that it would be fun. I still think it'll be fun. And it will also like be a good motivation for me to figure out how to play heads up, which is something that would be useful in general for like tournament stuff, because obviously I'm going to be heads up a lot in tournaments in the future.
I mean, why wouldn't you be heads up in tournaments?
Of course. Yeah, exactly.
I could see it. So yeah, I found this kind of interesting, and you got two live full ring players battling heads up. I just found that kind of funny because it don't make sense. Like, why would two full ring players play heads up? It doesn't make sense to me. You guys haven't played heads up. How many hands of heads up has both of you guys played? Probably not much.
I've played a few thousand. It's nothing, but it's not zero.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not as though there was an ordered thought process to this challenge. Guy said something to me, and I was just like, let's play right now. And he wasn't in the place where I was, so it got pushed out, and now it's gonna happen for TV, so we're not doing it until March. There's no real logic to doing it this way, except that it was a thing that occurred to me on the spot when I was reading his message at the Bellagio, and I don't know how else we do it. It's not like we can have a full ring game to try to compete between the two of us. So,
right. Okay, there's another theory been going around. I got to ask you about. I've been getting this. And I got to tell you, this is a surprising popular theory because I've had numerous people get in touch with me and ask me about this. There's some there's a love conspiracy happening here. I don't know. Is this a false or true? Some sort of love tangle, like a.
Are you talking about me and Dentale?
What do you say?
Are you talking about me and Dentale?
You would numerous people have said, hey, there's something going on between them. Yeah. I don't know. I'll ask. I don't know.
I've heard this so many times on Twitter, and I've actually just started blocking people who say it because it's fucking ridiculous. I dislike this person intensely. And there's nothing that indicates otherwise other than the fact that I have a vagina. You know, like why would you think that there is anything between us? If it were a man, there would be no question. We just hate each other. But like, I just I have no idea. But like, I've gotten this joke. I thought about actually, and I might still do it, making like a collage of all of the times I've gotten this joke. Like, when are you guys gonna just like have sex already? Because it's literally been hundreds of times. And I'm just like, where the fuck are you people getting this from?
I've talked.
I would
I
cut
said,
off
listen.
parts of my body before having sex with Mike Dentale. That is a real thing.
Wait, you'd what?
I would cut off parts of my body before having sex with Mike Dentale.
Well, I don't know. That might be a bang bang of the year so far, right there. Wow. Wow. So when people asked, I said, I got to be honest with you. You know, I had Mike on the podcast, talk with Mike. I talked with Cate a bunch. I can't see it. I just can't. I can't. I'm not even in like I can't see it. You know, I don't know. I don't see Mike going for, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Not even in like a hate sex kind of way. There's just nothing. There's nothing. First of all, I am repulsed by him physically. That seems to be mutual because he's taken many shots at the way that I look on Twitter. And his personality is like maybe the worst of any person I've ever met in real life. I just would never, ever, ever under any circumstances.
The worst of anyone you've ever met in your real life?
I mean, it might be like a tie, but I find everything about him loathsome. He's just a vile, angry, hate-filled, stupid person.
Okay. Damn.
Not having sex.
Damn, man. I gotta say, I didn't hate him that much. I mean, I don't know, like, but I know a lot of guys like him back home, back here in the Midwest, man. A lot of these fucking guys are out of line. All right, they say crazy things. They say things I wouldn't want to bring them on the podcast to have them say. So when I talked to him, I was like, man, this guy kind of reminds me of some crazy guys I know from back home that I used to hang out with when I was 18, 19. You get older and you know, you start talking differently. So not quite the people I roll with these days, but it was pretty interesting. I didn't expect the conversation. I've never talked to him before. I don't really know much about him. I didn't expect the conversation to go how it did. So it was.
I didn't watch it. I don't know how it went.
Well, you would have got to see his neck a lot. He was driving in the car. He was driving at the same time he was doing it. So it was pretty unique experience for sure. So
I'm sure that was unintentional.
No. I'm excited for the match. I actually have a bet on your side. So are you going to be getting coaching? Is there some sort of like, what's the plan here?
I am not getting coaching for it, which people seem to be incapable of believing, but I just don't even care at this point. I think that I think it'll be possible for me to prepare myself well enough to give myself a significant edge, and that like the additional improvement that I would get from getting coaching is probably not going to be worth the money that I would have to spend for it. Like, I don't doubt that I would be better at heads up if I got coached by a heads up player. But there's a lot of good information that I can find on my own, and I'll just prepare myself. Yeah, I think you can basically get most of the way there. And it might not be good enough to become a world-class heads up player, but it's certainly good enough to play Mike Dentale. Bang, bang.
Oh no, I mean this, y'all crazy, okay? You both are crazy. You both two are out of line. That's all I just gotta say. It ain't one way. It's both you guys are out of line. I cannot wait for this match to happen, man. I'm just excited. Did you see what's happening here? Did you see these two guys tried to steal your match? Little Willie K. William Kassouf and Stacey Madison tried to steal y'all thunder. Did you see this match?
Yeah, I saw that it was happening. I don't know much about it. I don't know what the deal is. When is that going on?
I don't know, but I just know that Stacey, if you guys don't know this, Stacey Madison, is that her name? Madison? Well, how do you, is that? I think it's right.
I'm not sure how yeah.
Okay, Stacey Madison, World Series of Poker coverage. It was her and Willie K. Shout out to William Kassouf, my boy back there on the wall. And they got in this confrontation, made them full queens. I don't know. I don't quite remember what happened, but Then a heads up challenge was issued by her to him, and they're going to play now. And I'm pretty sure it was just based on the you versus Mike Dentale heads up match. So maybe you started a trend in 2017 of this live player heads up for roll sort of challenge.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back. Yeah, that should be interesting. Do you know when that's happening?
I'm not sure. Why? I hope it happens after your match, so you guys get the first. Although, I mean, I don't know. I could go. I guess. I don't know. Which one are you guys most excited for? Are you excited for the Cate versus? You guys better say Cate. She's in the podcast now. Cate versus Mike, or Willie K versus Stacy Madison. I don't really know much about.
I don't have that open. So if they say the other one, just lie to me. That'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for yours coming up here. So what's March? So what's your plan, man? You're in Australia right now. Aussie Millions starts now, or is it coming up, or what's going on?
It's been going for like a week already, and it'll be going for the next 2 weeks. And
playing that 25K, I saw you selling some action for it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it. Actually, it's my first 25K, and I think it's going to be a good one in terms of the field, and I feel ready for it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited that I get to play.
Well, now it makes more sense, guys. Kate's using me for the podcast to Run Good.
Exactly. I forgot about that, but it's the thing.
You're using me for the podcast Run Good. And this is how it feels to be used by a woman, boys. I'm telling you right now. Not a good feeling, okay? Now I know how women felt back in the day when I may or may not have been a little out of line when I was a kid. So it's nothing to feel good, Cate. So podcast Run Good. Tomorrow, you're playing 25K. So what made you want to play this 25K? Because you said first 25K, but it'll be a soft field. And I saw you asking some questions about the field. What was kind of the desire to want to get into this one?
My philosophy with poker has always been that I want to challenge myself, both to improve and so that I have like more interesting opportunities in the future. And what that has meant is often trying to play bigger events with more competitive fields and selling at no markup for them, which is not something that a lot of poker players do, because it just like on a pure short-term economic basis doesn't like make a lot of sense. You have other opportunities to invest that money that you could have a higher return on investment from. But I think it's good for me as a player to be challenging myself and also have like an opportunity to demonstrate my skill to other players. And I'd like to, be able to play bigger events in the future. This 25K seemed like a natural sort of place to try to step up, because it's one of the bigger 25K fields. It's also one of the softer ones for like the whole year. So I thought if I could do it, that I should try to play it, and I was able to sell enough action. So I'm going to do that.
So I guess in this situation, you mentioned you want to challenge yourself. You want to step up to the plate. So on this side, it's kind of like a one sample size thing. So how do you feel like you really challenge yourself, if it's a one-time thing or if it's something that you plan to play as a little bit more similar events like this in the near future?
I mean, hopefully. So like I did the same thing.
Oh, frozen? She's frozen.
I feel like I played well enough in those that I was able to later sell action to people, like good players that I'd played with. And so that's like translated into more opportunities to play bigger events and now to ask for markup for a lot of them. And I feel like this is a similar thing where, you try to pick a good one where there will be a soft field and hopefully do well. And people care about results. They also care about seeing how you play in the event. And it's just going to be a better spot for me to be in a field where there's 120 players and a decent number of recreational players, as compared to like a 25K at Aria or something that is 90 to 95% regs.
I definitely agree with that. I think if you're going to want to play something, that was kind of why you were doing the research. I think some of the, the high rollers and PCAs was basically all looked like a lot of regulars down there. Aria 25K, as you mentioned, pretty much is the similar type of field on a consistent basis. So if you want to play some of the high rollers, going to Australia, going out to Asia, going to one of the Asian Millions or someplace in Europe probably would be seems like it would be one of the places to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Give it a shot.
I mean, listen, no, if you can sell and that's so I've been thinking about this a lot in tournaments, right? If you can sell action to different things, I mean, why not? Why not take a shot? I don't know. Why not take a shot sometimes if you can do it? If it can happen, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the response to that would be the reason not to is you can take whatever amount of your own money you're investing into the tournament and invest it instead into like 1K to 3K or 5K events, and your return on investment is going to be higher for those. To me, like, I'm happy to sacrifice the maybe few $100s in EV that I could expect from putting it into a different tournament for the opportunity to play like a special event. Because like, I mean, I'm not playing poker purely because I want to make the most money. You know, I had a job before this and I left because I wanted to enjoy my life. This is an opportunity that for one reason or another excites me. And so whenever I see something like that in poker, I try to take advantage of it because it makes my life more enjoyable. And that's part of what I'm trying to maximize by playing poker.
Right. Like, I mean, listen, last year I played the 25K PLO at the World Series. Come on, man. Listen, come on. Hey, was I plus EV? Not going to be, I mean, you know, good at PLO, 6 max, 100 big blinds, 200 big blinds, 300 big blinds, online tournament, 8 max, maybe. Yeah. So, hey, I understand, Kate. I understand the desire. Sometimes you want to back the truck up. Sometimes you want to you want to do it, man. Sometimes you want to get after it and see what happens. I completely get it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. What, is Sam welcome? What do you look at Sam welcome by?
No, I heard a noise, but she's.
Oh.
I think she's still asleep.
Oh,
they might have a Sam cameo in a little bit since I'm doing it from her place.
Yeah, the people. Oh yeah. By the way, okay. So I have to ask you this question, and I think we talked about this in the first podcast. Did we talk about how much money that you used to make at your? There's a contentious debate going on right now in my GTO club about this. Did you ever talk about how much money you used to make, or you could have made at some point in time?
I talked about it. I talked about it on my podcast over the summer. The holy shit, I can't remember the name of my own podcast.
Fighting chance. Come on, really?
Oh my god. I just my mind just blanked. I was like, it's a pun on poker, but God, what is it? Okay. Yeah, fighting chance. I talked about it.
How much was it?
I was making $500,000 a year.
You were, or you had the potential to make that?
I was. And I had the potential to make a lot more than that.
Okay.
Like I made $500,000 in my last year as a lawyer.
Matt Marco, I think you're going to win this one, my friend. Shout out to Matt Marco. By the way, you got to meet my friend Matt Marco. He loves you.
Okay.
He loves you. You're his favorite poker player. He loves you. Yeah, shout out to Matt Marco. He's in. But there was a debate going on that. So another guy, he's a lawyer. He said, I don't think she was making that much money.
No, I was. I was working for. I think literally the highest paid law firm in the country.
Damn. Then you came to poker. Now you're here. Now we got you.
Got the dream job and then I just left.
Wait, you talked last time we were talking to each other. I think this was a podcast. It might have not been a podcast though. And you were talking about you want to get out of poker at some point in time this year, right?
Yeah, so my original plan was like after this summer, it might get extended, which is something that everybody predicted. But I just there's like a lot of other stuff I want to do in life, but I also I love it so much. I'm just having so much fun playing that I'm really reluctant to leave. So I think that as long as I continue to improve and I'm like enjoying the process of improving and learning about it, and as long as I can afford it because I'm making money playing, I will continue to do it. And then when I start to get like a little bit less excited about it, I'll try to find something else to do.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I guess it's, by the way, shout out to my buddy, I guess kind of buddy, my podcast guest before. I mean, I like him, man. Andrew Barber. Shout out to Andrew Barber, man. I like that kid, man. He's in the chat right now. Big shout. You know, you communicate with Andrew. Are you guys friendly or are you guys not friendly?
Yeah, no, we're friendly. I haven't like spent a lot of time with him because we've not really overlapped in the same place. I mean, we're both in Vegas for the summer, but we're both also really busy. But like we run in the same circles a lot.
Cool. I like that kid, man. I like that
Yeah.
guy. He's always talking about some crazy stuff I don't fucking understand. So, but you know, one
Did you
day,
have him on the pod?
yeah, we had him on the pod. We had him on the pod when I was in California. I was on the beach. I was on the ocean in some restaurant, and I remember I got kicked out of the upstairs room. I had to go back downstairs. But yeah, we talked about markup. I believe was the conversation about that markup
Oh,
packages
yeah. Okay.
and that sort of stuff happening.
I remember when he read the article about that. Makes sense.
And now Mike McDonald's here to maybe change the markup scene. I don't know. I don't really follow the markup world, tournament world too much, so I don't really know what's been kind of happening in the tournament world there. So you're planning to. But I was going to go back to what I was going to say. Was that I was trying to think what I was going to say. It's going to be tough, especially if you have success at poker, to ever really want to get out of poker, because if you're making a bunch of money, then it's kind of like, well, if I enjoy the lifestyle, I enjoy the game, I'm successful, I'm doing well, like it's kind of like, well, what am I going to go do where I might even make comparable amount of money that's going to give me this lifestyle that I mean, you know, it's like travel around the world. You get to be in Australia, you get to go wherever the fuck you want to go. Yeah. So it's you think it's going to be tough to maybe someday transition out of that?
Yeah, I mean, there will be parts of it that are challenging. The lifestyle with poker is just, it's absolutely the best. I get to do whatever I want to every day. And that's just like, nobody has that. And I love it. And I'm really grateful for that. And I know that when I have to go back to having a job, I'm like really going to miss that, because who wouldn't? But I think that I have some doubts about how long it will be possible to make a lot of money playing poker. It's obviously much harder to do now than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And I also think that, you know, the people that I know who've been playing for more than 5 years, most of them are a little bit tired of playing and want to do something else. So I think that as excited as I am about it now, there's a really good chance that I won't be that excited about actually playing in the future. And that will be a good time for me to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of players, I mean, myself included, you hit that 9-10 year mark and you're playing 9-10 years. And especially once you've had a lot of success, especially if you feel like you've reached a really high mark in your life, a high limit, a high dollar amount, whatever it might be, at some point, yeah, you kind of want to do other things. I think for myself, I'm really enjoying just reading books, learning about other things, learning about how to not wake up at 4 p.m. every single day. Turns out, guys, you don't need to wake up at 4, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. I didn't wake. Kate, I swear to God, the last 2 years, I don't think I woke up the same 3-hour time span in 1 week at all. Like maybe in the past 10 years, I don't think I've ever woken up in the same that out. I get just. My life's been chaotic, unstructured, all this stuff. And actually learning more about this and trying to set it up like that has been extremely enjoyable. And I love that part of thing. What's your schedule like? Kind of, are you a night person? Are you someone who goes to bed at the same time? From that you kind of maybe had that habit from your work life?
Yeah, I think that the last like year and a half, my schedule has just been whatever, because I've been enjoying the freedom to do whatever I want. And also like the hours of a lawyer job were just miserable for me. I'm definitely a night person. And so trying to wake up at 8 every morning to go to the office, it was just miserable. So my schedule has been something like go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up at noon every day. And I think that I'm like starting to want to try to change that a little bit to make it a little bit more reasonable. Just because I don't feel like I'm really participating in the world so much if I'm on a drastically different schedule from everybody else. But poker tends to sort of like anchor you toward later times of the night, because that's obviously when the games are good if you're a live player. So it's a little bit of a balancing act. And like my my natural inclination is pretty late, and I have a sort of tendency to rebel against the idea of having a schedule, and so I just like default to being up really late. But it's maybe not like the healthiest thing.
Yeah, I thought about this. Like, is it healthy? Is it not healthy? If you embrace the 4 to 10, 4 to 12 rather. So if you wake up at 12, you might get out of.
Oh, I think I lost you. You there?
I'm here. Are you there?
Okay. Yeah, I got you. You just like froze for a second, but you're back.
Yeah, you're a little bit. It's a little laggy over there. Maybe someone's downloading some sort of Australian movie. I don't know how it works. Maybe you guys are downloading something. Who knows? Shout out to Australian internet. By the way, in the chat, guys, what's up with this chat today? We got a bunch of micro dosing things. We got some high. Someone said I'm high. Someone said Kate's high. Kate, are you high?
I'm not high right now.
Okay, I'm not high right now either, guys. Surprise! I've never been high in a podcast I've done. But one of the only times in my life I've gotten high was actually with Kate. So I mean,
yeah. After our in-person podcast.
Yes.
And then we went and got Mexican food. That was really fun.
Yes, and that was one of the only times in my life I've ever been high, and I've never felt so dumb in my entire. I could not form a coherent thought. It was I was like, how do people do this all the time? Is that how it is all the time? You just can't like make a sentence that you want to say?
I mean, I think, can adjust your level of highness, and if you don't want to be catatonic, people can aim to not be that. It's like if you got blackout drunk one time and you're just like, is this what drinking is always like? No, you can alter that, but you probably did too much for your level of tolerance.
Yeah. You guys, I got fucked up, man. That's all. After that experience, I was like, how do people get high? That was terrible. I was so. Whew, yeah,
That's funny. I don't remember you being like out of your mind, but I believe you.
Well, I think I was just so you kind of that paranoia feel or something when you're starting to like talk, or you feel like you want to say something, but then you just keep it in you and you don't get out. I was listening.
I've been in that spot before where I'm like hanging out with new people that I don't know well, and somebody will like offer me weed, and I'll be like, oh sure, I'll take a little bit, and then just like I can't form a sentence, and I feel so embarrassed about it.
Yeah, but I think in that spot, I was wondering this: do other people notice if like they kind of understand, or they give you they get it? They're not going to be like, oh, this fucking clown can't do this, right?
Nobody cares. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
People aren't like, oh, this guy can't hold his weed. How lame. It's fine.
Yeah, like if I see someone who might do some ecstasy or someone, they get too fucked up, I'm like feeling bad for the person. I'm not like, oh, this clown was passed out in the corner shaking or something. I'm not, I'm gonna give the guy a little water or something. I'm not gonna.
If you're passed out in the corner shaking from weed, there's probably something really wrong. I've never seen that.
I'm telling you, I was in California later. That was last May. I was with Anna, Cate, and Joe Liberta. They're together, and we were in a hotel. They tried some brownie edible pot brownie, and I thought I was gonna die. I'm scared. I'm not gonna get out of this feeling. I was terrified that I was not gonna be the same person I was before I took the weed brownie.
Yeah. That's the worst feeling. I've been there before. I don't know if I've done it on weed, but I've been there.
Right.
You're just like, will I ever be normal again?
Yeah, you're questioning. But do you say to yourself, I'm never going to do that again because I don't want to have this feeling again? Or do you say, oh, it was probably just a bad time and it isn't the normal thing?
I usually say, like, I felt bad, but I obviously came out of it unscathed. So now next time I feel like that, I won't panic and it'll be fine.
That's a really great way to look. I wish you would told me this. I wish I just asked you this when it happened to me, because that's a great way to have. It's like, well, if you experienced it once, you did it, you're fine. Well, you can do it again. You're gonna be fine. You don't have to be that terrified, sitting there like, what the fuck is? Yeah, they were looking at me laughing, and they kind of felt bad, but they felt bad once again. Like I said, they felt bad. They felt bad that I was gonna die.
Yeah, a really good thing to do, I think, is the first time that you do any sort of psychedelics, because it's a pretty disorienting experience, and kind of not like any other drug type of experience. I've seen it recommended, and I actually did this, where I wrote myself like a note, like, what you're experiencing now is normal. You will come out of it in a few hours. This is really safe, and like sort of a brief outline of like why it's not a problem. And so when you like if you have a moment where you panic and you're like, am I ever gonna feel normal again? I don't know. You can like go and read that and be like, okay, when I was insane mind, I knew that this would happen and that it would be okay. I can relax now. And I found that to be really helpful. So I recommend that for anybody who would be trying psychedelics for the first time.
Dare I say, that sounds pretty GTO. Although I might read it and say, this wasn't me. I didn't write this to myself.
It's possible, but it was convincing to me. I calmed the fuck down.
Well, my friend Angan said exactly my experience. He's our resident LSD expert that I know. So he actually told me this thing, Cate. I wonder if this ever happened to you. He said that he was doing some LSD. Allegedly, he was doing some LSD. Sorry, back that up. Allegedly, he was doing some LSD. He was in his bedroom. He looked around his bedroom. He realized his bedroom is a mess. And then he put it together that if his bedroom's a mess, his life, and it's a reason for his life being a mess. His place around him was so unstructured. His life was so unstructured and he had this epiphany, this connection while he was on LSD. Is this a normal thing where you're sitting there and all of a sudden something just connects in your mind and you answer some big question you might have had in your life?
Yes. I mean, I think that acid candidly has been responsible for a lot of the big life changes that I've made, like insights that I've had on it. And my decision to leave my job as a lawyer is a product of like exploration that I did on acid. Yeah. Because it enabled me to to really see how unhappy I was with what I was doing in my course in life, and to see sort of how my life was likely to progress if I kept going on that path. Because it was really hard for me to acknowledge that I had sort of made some mistake along the way, or some error in judgment that had led me to be in this career that wasn't going to make me happy. And I was making so much money at it that I had like a tendency to try to convince myself that it wasn't so bad and that I was happy doing what I was. And, thinking about it with the help of psychedelics really made me able to like acknowledge some hard truths to myself, and I think got me out of a situation where I could have easily just found myself at 50 a partner in a law firm doing something that I hated for the rest of my life. It was a really real possibility for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who, and I mean, I've talked with a lot of people. I'm sure you've talked to a lot of people who have careers, successful careers that make a lot of money, that do well, that aren't very happy. They don't want to be in that. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, and you obviously meet some happy people, of course, but there are a lot of people as well. Like they're that 50 point, that 40 point, even in their 30s, and they sort of see where their life's headed, and yeah, they ask me, they talk to, it's pretty wild. It's a very real thing.
Yeah, I think that when I looked around at the people that I was working with, I saw a couple people who enjoyed it, but I saw a lot more people who didn't like it and were doing it for sort of weird reasons, like they wanted money to buy a bigger house, which they didn't spend any time in. They're like, things that made them happy weren't really motivating their life decisions. And I saw how that could happen with me, and just tried to figure out a way out of it.
So then I got to ask you about some recent tweet you made, Cate. You said, it's just batshit insane how much happier I am than I was 2 months ago. And thank God, because that was some bleak shit, you guys. So what was that? So what's happening there? So you mentioned you quit the job before. I knew something that made you happier, but it sounds like, still sounds like sometimes you kind of, maybe those feelings sort of come back. Oh,
I mean, there's lots of different reasons to be unhappy. I've found all of them in my life. By leaving my job as a lawyer, I think I was able to escape sort of the existential malaise that plagues people throughout their lives. And I think that I will have much higher life satisfaction as a result. I enjoy poker now. I will eventually move on to something else. And I think that thing will bring me higher enjoyment than law, because I will have some clarity when I'm deciding what to do about what my actual priorities are in life, which is not to make money. And that was basically what motivated my decision to be a lawyer in the first place. Even if you're happy with how your job is going, which I have been consistently with poker. You can still be unhappy for other reasons. And a couple months ago, you know, I like had some small reasons to be personally unhappy. I was like coming out of a downswing finally. But also the real issue was the election in the US, which just wrecked my faith in humanity and made me really feel like the world was over. And I feel much, much better about life now. I don't feel that much better about the world, but I feel better about my ability to like find reasons to get out of bed in the morning. Honestly, I was so incredibly depressed during that time. And I'm enjoying life again. And the turnaround has just been really fast for me. And so the reason that I like mention that on Twitter, and I think it's good to acknowledge it, is because everybody has times when they get depressed, I think. And it's useful to point out that that is temporary, no matter how bad it feels at the time. You know, just like to be really honest about it. I remember talking to a friend at the end of November and just thinking like, I just told her like, you know, I'm just sort of like getting up and going through the day every day on the assumption that things will get better because they have before when I've been depressed, but like, I don't really want to live right now. Like I wasn't suicidal. I just like had no desire to like participate in the world. I didn't like enjoy my life at all. And everything felt so incredibly bleak. And to go from feeling that way to feeling like, I feel excited and happy and like so good about my life right now. And to go that distance in like a month and a half to 2 months, I think it's useful to say that like out loud and publicly because other people go through the same thing all the time. And so it's good to like hear that it can turn around really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, kind of two things on that. One, I think most people might say, why would the elections sort of make you feel that type of way? And I can understand because I think that certain people have different passions about everything. Certain people care a lot about different things. And just because one person cares about something that you see as something that you don't give a fuck about doesn't mean like, I don't get it. They don't have empathy for other people. They don't. And by the way, and also just in terms of being vulnerable publicly like that, I think that's something that I sort of wish I could do more of. I feel like I'm vulnerable to some extent, but at the same time, I certainly could be more vulnerable. And honestly, that's I've done there's two schools of thought. Some people say, well, why would you want to share that much? But at the same time, why the fuck not? You don't see most of these motherfucking people anyway. You don't see them. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
It really doesn't. Yeah. There's like low cost to it. And it's potentially like, first of all, it can be therapeutic for you because like when I was feeling really down, I found it useful to acknowledge that publicly and to not pretend like everything was fine. It was sort of like therapeutic to talk about. It's also like talking about it and having other people respond to it and share their experiences. It makes you feel more connected to the world. And when you're feeling really, really shit, that's a good thing. Just like feeling like you have some bond with strangers on the internet. I remember like one thing I did was I posted a series of questions like, I'm feeling horrible today. So can you guys share with me like something that gave you hope recently, something that made you happy, like a list of questions, and people responded with like good things that had happened to them recently. And it just felt like, I felt like connected to all of these strangers on the internet. And I felt like there was more good in the world that I was aware of. So it was like a really good experience for me to be getting feedback from people.
Right. Yeah. It's like they can't all be bad, right? They can't. And I think, as we mentioned with you, you're a very polarizing kid, Cate. I guess woman, you're not a kid. You're older than me, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm 33. How old are you?
31.
31? Okay.
The youngest 31-year-old in the world. Look at this headband, man. Look at this top, man. I'm the youngest 31-year-old in the world. Shout out to me. But yeah, I think, obviously you're a polarizing person. There's usually some people out there that say they can't relate at all. You're kind of unrelatable in a lot of ways, Cate. Just in terms of your upbringing, Ivy League schools,
Well, no,
you're
Ivy
unrelatable to
League
a lot of people.
school.
They can't even understand kind of what you think, why you think, where you're coming from with a lot of things. So
I will say like Ivy League schools is pretty gives a pretty inaccurate picture of my background. Like I grew up in Southern Arizona, in Tucson, and went to public schools my entire life, including through college. I put myself through college, and then I went to Yale Law School, which I also put myself through. But it's not like I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth.
But the
I worked really hard.
Perception for a lot of people isn't that though. The perception for a lot of people is sort of just the law school. They see that, they just see the name. They don't necessarily know the background. They don't know your story or where you came from. So I feel like when a lot of people, the perception they see is just that. They see the lawyer and they see the tweets, they see the politics and that type of stuff. And they make assumptions. People make assumptions on sort of what they see.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really know that other type of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I rub a lot of people the wrong way. I remember James saying like, how is it even possible to get as many thumbs down on YouTube as you get? Like nobody gets half thumbs down. There's just, yeah, people like, there's a decent number of people who really don't like me. But I don't know. I did this thing actually around the new year where I said that I wanted like honest feedback from people, including strangers, about like problems they saw. Yeah, and it was a genuine request, and I got like a lot of useful feedback. I like to try to be aware of my like personality traits that are either bad or that people dislike, so that I can make judgments about whether they're things that I want to change. So like I know that I come across as condescending and strident and things like this on Twitter. And I like think that I've weighed the consequences about that, but it's always useful to have like feedback from other people. And I got like a lot of useful feedback from strangers in addition to close friends, like people who wrote me really thoughtful things about like how they thought that I could basically improve as a person. And I appreciated that.
So what was the most useful feedback that you got that you feel like when you heard it, it was something that you immediately thought, I'd like to implement this into my life or into my thought process or into kind of what I'm doing?
I think that one of the things that I need to work most on, and was sort of aware of this on some level, is just how responsive I am as a friend, because I have pretty extreme tendencies toward introversion, and it sort of manifests as me sometimes withdrawing and not ever responding to people. And especially for people that I'm close to, this can be confusing, even if I've sort of told them this is an issue for me. So I'm trying to work on just like making it clear to people that I care about them by actually being more present and more responsive as a friend. And I think that it, like, feedback that I got along those lines was helpful to me.
So what does that look like for you then? Is that something more with actually texting them back, or maybe giving them a phone call once in a while, instead of having to be a one-way street on their end? It's a two-way street on both sides?
Yeah, that's the idea. And like actually proactively checking in with people sometimes, as opposed to just like waiting to hear from them. And but I think that the big thing is just like responding to people, because that's been historically a problem of mine.
I gotta say, Cate, I'm terrible. I'm awful at that. It's been one of my, I never really noticed how bad I was until I started doing the pod, and then I started kind of like talking to more people, making more friends. And then you check Facebook, I have like 375 things I've been just like unread, and now it just gets
exhausting.
Yeah, and even on my phone now, I mean, I try to. There's like, I mean, it's not even like how popular or anything. Oh, I guess I don't have many here. Oh, thank God. All right, I'm being better. I'm actively trying to be better. So I'm trying to call people. I'm trying to talk to them more. I'm trying to be the person who says, hey, let's chat. But this is kind of my thing I've been trying to think about more, and I've been working at this, is that what's the point What's the purpose? How can I create value? Should I obsess about creating value in every conversation? And, that's something I've been thinking about a lot and trying to incentivize myself almost internally to be like, well, you want to call them because you're going to get this from them, or you'll be able to maybe give them that, or you'll be able to get something. You never know what exactly it could be that you get from the conversation. So don't be so adverse to doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how popular confirmed. Listen, guys, listen, man. Hey, you know what, Craig? That's how it goes, man. You do it. Come on, man. Hey, I know you guys can't. Maybe some of you guys out there, you might be saying this, sitting there, saying, man, I got no one messaging me. I get it. You need someone to message you? Hit me up. Poppy's got your back, man. Let me know. I'm gonna send you a message. Kate's gonna send you a message too. If you're sitting there right now, you say, man, ain't nobody fucking with me. I got no 395 unread messages on Facebook. You hit me up, Joe Ingram 1 on Twitter, Joe Ingram on Facebook. Send me a message, man. I got love for you right now. And
yeah, definitely Hall, hit Joey up. Hit Joey up.
And Cate Hall on Twitter, @Cate Hall. She'll be there for you too. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Much love. You want to get some shout outs, Cate? You got somebody to say what's up to?
No. Shout out to Sam Abernathy in the next room.
I love Sam. Shout out to Sam, by the way, man. I like Sam. Who else we got? Let me get some shouts in the chat. Hold on. Who we got? My buddy Ryan Meese. Ryan Meese. He's been very excited for you to come on the podcast, Cate. He just wanted me to tell you hello, and he'd like to make you aware of his existence in the world if you don't know who he is.
Shout out to Ryan. Good. I've seen him on Twitter.
Who else we got? Richard Knowles. Much love, Vape Nation. You in the Vape Nation? How does it go, guys? Someone in the chat, tell me. Do you know what the Vape Nation is? It's just great. This is funny YouTube. I don't know. It's hilarious. But who else we got? All right, who else we got? Pokerino Pizza. Motivating talking to Puppy. That's true. That's why people pay me money each month. Who else we got? Walewski, Charisma 91, Jeff Penzagnicki, Andrew T. God, there's too many fucking people in here now. Luke Costa, William Pinner, Ryan Sullivan. All right. We'll give some more later. Mick Vegas. Ryan Sullivan says, ask Cate about Chad Power and MGM Life.
What about?
Funny game says, I want to feel Joey's hot pulsing body pressed against mine as he sleeps. This will happen one day sooner than he knows. Listen, don't rate me. That's it. All right, just ask. I'll say yes. So Chad Power, MGM, he came out with an article. He talked about the high rollers there, the MGM. Do you read about this?
I saw somebody sent me the article, and I think I read part of it.
But you didn't read it. I didn't read it. I
read the first few paragraphs. Yeah, but is there like a more specific question?
I'm not sure. I don't know. For the question, I was hoping you knew. I seen it twice. I was like, well, maybe Cate just knows this because I certainly don't really know what that's about. So
no.
Yeah, what else you got planned going on? So you got the Aussie Millions. You got 25K. What else are you playing? You playing the main event, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I will be here for obviously the whole series. I don't really know I haven't figured out my plans for the next few months. There's a number of series that I might travel to, including LAPC and Montreal. I have to figure out how to play Heads Up at some point in the next couple of months. And MGM just opened. I mean, that's a big thing for me. MGM just opened a casino in Washington, D.C., and it's fantastic. It's just a great place to play. And it's 20 minutes door to door for me, which is so much better than what I was doing for Maryland Live. Maryland Live was like over an hour for me. So being able to play cash basically anytime I want and at a really nice room is making things much better. So I'm a little bit excited to just like go back there and take a little bit of time off from the tournament grind. I might just be playing a bunch of cash. I'm going to learn PLO.
I would say we're going to talk about that. So for you guys know, I put something out on Twitter the other day and on Facebook. I said, I'm looking for women, especially me and my buddy John Beaupre, who's got a site, PLOquickPro.com. Shout out to John. We're looking for some women. We want to turn them into winning PLO player. Couple reasons. One, PLO, super unrepresented by women in the poker world. I don't even know any women that play PLO. I'd like to see more. Also, we're doing a big push on YouTube this year. I'm going to try to get 30 million views on PLO content this year. I want people to find the great game. And I thought, you know what? I think this would be a lot of fun. We create some content around there. who knows? I feel like we're 100% favorites to do it at some point. Like it will be able to turn anyone with enough time, enough work into winning poker players. So a bunch of women got in touch with me, like 40 women, all great candidates. Super surprised. I'm just like stunned by some of these resumes. These women, talking with them, they're awesome too.
What does a poker resume look like?
They have, it's more like a life resume. It's like they went to like this sick school. They have this like sick background. They're like grinding hard. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You guys are sick. Like, this is dope, cool. So, but then a lot of women got in touch with me that I kind of already know, like Cate did, Jamie Kerstetter did. I know Julie. I don't exactly know who else we're going to be choosing for the thing, but I do know we're going to be having Cate and Jamie in there. And you guys seem pretty fired up for the PLO Death Squad, man. We're gonna like we want to turn the women into like fucking beasts, man. Just killing them and shutting the people up on Twitter that said it can't be. The people on Twitter that said it can't be done. I said, listen, I guarantee you we're gonna do it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. See how fired up?
I couldn't get in fast enough.
You see how I get when I talk about Potman Omaha?
Yeah, I do. I know you're the biggest champion for it.
I'm gonna. I don't understand why no one else champions for something. I'm championing so hard for Potman Omaha. You champion for politics. That's true, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't get as much negative feedback as you might get for your championship, though.
Yeah, PLO is a little bit more uncontroversial.
Yeah. You up the R's. It seems disingenuous, Poppy. You want to teach women how to play PLO. How the fuck is that I've already taught men. We already work with guys. We want to have some women out there. Think about this. If you're able to create some fun content, 1, it's great for PLO. 2, it's great for more women in poker. And 3, it's just great in general. It's fun. I like to have fun in what I'm doing.
If you can teach a woman to play PLO, you can teach anybody, you know?
Is that true? That's not true.
No.
That's not in line. Listen, I might have jokingly agreed with that 3 years ago before I met you, Cate, but I'm not falling for that. I'm like, wait, that's not true at all.
Good job. Dodged it.
Listen, you're our resident women's expert, by the way, on the podcast here. So anytime I always just shout you out. Anytime I say something I'm unsure about, I say, listen, I don't know if Kate's gonna like this, but I'm gonna say it, and if she doesn't like it, just let me know. Let me know I shouldn't have said it. All right. I like to preface it. She was trolling. You're right. I like to preface this by saying, I don't know if Cate Hall would approve this statement, but I'm going to say it and I'm going to take a risk. And I haven't gotten any messages from you. Have I said anything out of line? You got something you want to, do I need some scolding? I don't care. I can take it. You can tell me if I said something wrong. If it's borderline, you can let me know. I don't mind. I'm ready to reevaluate things.
I've not seen anything, but I haven't watched every podcast. I'm sure that you've said some stuff that's questionable. But your heart is in the right place. I know that.
Hope so. Yeah, I mean, I try. You know, I've gotten so much better. I'm telling you. You and Jen Shahade changed my whole entire life when it comes to just everything. And it's crazy because it was something I was super just unaware of. I didn't even know it existed. Yeah. And it sounds crazy to say that, but I didn't even know, like, I remember, what was the quote? You're good for a girl or something like that. Isn't that the quote that some people mentioned?
Yeah, I've gotten that as a compliment a lot.
Right. And I never understood the disrespect in that to a woman. I didn't understand that. You're good for a woman. I didn't understand why that would be hurtful. But then when you brought it to my attention, Jen Shahade brought it to my attention, I was like, oh, well, that makes, yeah, I wouldn't want to be told you're good for like a fucking, like this guy, or I wouldn't, I don't think I would take that as well too. So I think that was the turning point in well, that was a long time ago too now at this point in time. But yeah, that was like the turning point. I'm like, man, okay. So I would have been thinking about things a lot differently. And now when I see other people say certain things, I just kind of, I see it, but it doesn't really make me dislike that person anymore though, or make me hate a person because they might talk like that, because I think I kind of understand why people still may not be aware of that and may use certain language like that.
Yeah, I mean, when people say stuff that I disagree with, sort of in line with that, I don't think that it necessarily makes me dislike them. What matters to me is seeing that somebody is like trying to understand the world in some way. And so, for instance, there have been a couple times where people have said to me like, oh, how can you be so friendly with Joe Ingram? He said like X, Y, Z things about women in the past. It's just like, yeah, but he's obviously trying to like be a thoughtful person now. Why would you?
Who said this about me?
I've gotten like links to 2+2 threads sent to me a few times. Like, Cate, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like Joe Ingram said like this first thing about women. And just
Oh
like,
man, listen, I was out of line of shit. Okay, I'm the first one to say it. I was out of line.
yeah,
I said some crazy things, but I want to know who these people are. Who are these people?
I mean, it's random people on the
I got
internet.
some hitters on my back. I better watch my shoulder.
It's random people. It's not like anybody that I even remember.
Okay.
But like my response to that is always like, why would I penalize somebody for something that they did several years ago when they're like trying to be thoughtful? You know, it just seems like you gotta sort of prioritize effort and intent to some extent, and not like penalize everybody for deviating from your like ideal standard, because people just have different life experiences and they're not always aware of how things feel for other people. And if they are making some effort to like engage with the world and figure that stuff out, I'm never going to hold it against them that they've made a mistake.
Yeah, I think I'm at that point too. If someone wants to hold that against me, like that's okay. You can go ahead, man. You don't want to be friends with me. You don't want to talk to me. You don't want to you don't want to do anything. That's kind of okay with me at this point, because everyone's not gonna like you. Obviously, this is something cliche thing. Everybody's gonna like you. Everybody's gonna agree with you. That's just how things are.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Well, I know this person was. Wonder what I said, man. I was out of line. Like I don't know. I'm telling you, man, I was crazy. I don't think I was that bad, but I think I just was. I don't know, man. I can't remember anything specific on why, but BGG, do we decide that's a good thing or bad thing? Because I'm dating a girl now who loves the BGG. She like says it all the time, but she may or may not be qualified for the BGG. 160 or above, I show you love. 160 below, gotta go.
I think I just don't care, honestly.
Good. That one's good though, right? Yeah. I think we asked that initially.
And you asked it on another podcast, yeah. And I said that like it's like a little bit objectifying, but that I don't actually have a problem with objectification in like an abstract sense. That's like sometimes okay, and it's okay to like talk about your sexual preferences in terms of like physical appearance. That's fine. And my hesitation is just like when women are reduced to only that in context that it matters. Like I don't want it to happen in poker. If it happens in conversation with your buddies, then it's not my business.
This happens in conversation with the podcast. I like all women. I don't know, Cate. I'm I'm an equal opportunist. No matter. I'm black girl, white girl, tall girl, short girl, Indian girl. I'm interested in meeting them all, and
very open-minded.
I'm open-minded. I'm not like I'm interested. I'm not saying I want to date them. I haven't really, I've been kind of working hard in the lab, building things and working on what I'm doing lately. But hypothetically, I would be open to everybody, right? Kind of brings us to our thing.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of brings us to our thing about you. So last time we talked, you were fine. You were kind of stepping out and doing the poker relationship thing, and now it looks like you're in another poker relationship. So
yeah.
So what's happening?
I'm dating James Ops now, and super cool. I started talking to him like a month and a half ago, and I actually had never met him before I came out to Australia, but I just came out and like moved in with him, and so I'm staying with him for a month, and it's fantastic.
So you're talking about James Opes. James Opes' online screen name is Andy McLeod, right?
Yep.
Okay. I like that kid. And he plays a great game of Omaha Cate, and I love anyone that plays PLO.
He plays them all. He plays a lot of mixed games too. Mostly what I'm spending time with right now. Yeah.
So how's this working? It's working out better than the last one. I don't know what happened. I didn't really. I'm not sure what happened with that last one. Last one ended. It ran its course, whatever. So now you're under this new one.
Yeah, let's get into it. No, I was dating Ben Heath for a while, and it was great, but we like just weren't compatible in some ways. And I have like really, really good feelings about him. And we ended it on like great terms. Just like it just wasn't going to work, especially long distance. And was single for a little bit, and then wasn't like looking to meet somebody else, but just started talking to James, and really liked him. So here we are.
Which accent you like better, the British or the Australian?
I mean, like, James isn't gonna like it, but I think I like British better. but they're both fantastic accents, both like miles ahead of American.
I was gonna say too, as somebody who may or may not have dated a UK girl and an Australian, I'm all in on I like the British for sure. The Australian accent, a little different.
Australian is a really good accent. It's just like there's something about like British accents that is so pleasing to the ear. Mm-hmm. You just feel fancy.
Scientifically proven, I believe, in different science. I think Wait But Why, I think he wrote an article about why the British accent is the best accent in the world.
Is that a real thing, or are you joking?
No, of course I'm kidding. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like something Liv might say. Liv's like, no, there's an accent article written on Wait But Why, and they wrote about why this. I feel like Liv could say something like that. What do you say?
Is Liv Chinese? That was like the weirdest British accent I've ever heard.
Not a professional accent person, you know what I mean? I don't understand. I play poker. I don't do accents, but yeah, that was pretty bad. Do you have you have a better Liv accent than me?
I don't really.
You can't be banging on me and then not do an accent yourself.
Well, I mean, like I wouldn't try to do one if I was going to sound like racist.
Oh my God. Come on. Although, actually, when I did the William Kassouf accent, they did say it sounded Chinese, so maybe that's what they're talking about now.
Yeah, I think that your attempt to do a British accent just sounds Chinese.
Joey's accents all sound Chinese. I think that's actually true. I don't know why they all get merged with I don't even know why that is. I think I just do a good Chinese accent. So maybe every time I think of an accent, I just want to do it like Alex Dreyfuss one. It's okay. You know, it is Chinese. Shit, I'm terrible at accents. How do you get better?
That's like Chinese Italian or something. I don't know. Yeah. Liv does amazing accents. She's actually really talented at it. I've seen videos of her doing like accents from all around the world, and she's really good.
Yeah, I think she might be the best accent person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Very talented person for sure. Very GTO, man. What else we got in this list over here? I'm not doing that. Now, plans for the year, kid. What's the plans for the year? So you don't really know. You said maybe LAPC. Obviously, poker awards are out there. We were there last year together at the same table. There was an interesting incident that happened there. I hope it doesn't happen again this year if I go.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh man, what an incident that. Have I ever talked about that incident? Have I ever told an incident on the podcast? I better not tell that incident on the podcast. So what's your plan? You might go there, but you might go back home. This summer, you're going to the series.
I'm going to the awards. I won Female Player of the Year, so I'm going to go to the awards. And I'll probably stay out for LAPC, the main at least. But I'm going to be spending more time at home, and like both studying and playing cash. I have like also a number of other projects that I'm working on right now that I'm not quite ready to announce publicly. But there's like 3 other things that are really time consuming and are going to cause me to want to spend more time at home, I think. Like a little business plan I'm working on, and a charitable organization I'm working with, and another job type thing. So those will all come in the next few months probably, but they're not ready for public consumption yet.
So how does this newfound love relationship going to work then? If you're back in America, you're back at home, you're in LA.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's unfortunate that I am really into somebody who lives literally on the opposite side of the world. I looked on a map to see if there was any, like how far Melbourne was from where I live, and I realized that it is probably literally the inhabited place in the world that is furthest away from where I live. So it's really inconvenient, but whatever, figure it out.
I'm gonna give some people some tips out there, including yourself. As someone who has moved to a different country, maybe more than once for a woman, My new strategy is that I do not get close to women that live overseas. If you live over a sea, I just can't. I think it leads to too much. You like, and you want to go. I don't.
This
think
is not useful advice for me at this point.
No,
That's already happened.
No, it isn't. I agree. But for other people out there, maybe one person can learn from this mistake.
You can save somebody else.
Right, exactly. Because then what happens? You come back to you're in Maryland, they're in Australia, and it's tough.
Yep, it will be tough, but whatever.
What's love got to do with it? Give me some questions, chat. What do we got? Thoughts on? I mean, that's actually a fair question, Scott. But I'm not gonna ask Cate that question. Let me see some other questions. Give me some questions, Scott. Who do we got? Eric Froelich. How does it feel to be a role model and sex symbol to people's wives everywhere, or at least in my household? That's a great question.
This is the first time I've ever been called a sex symbol. Yes! Achievement unlocked. It feels fantastic, let me tell you.
I don't know if you're kidding or not. I don't know.
No, I didn't have a reference point before just this minute, but right now I feel fantastic. So I'm just telling you, it feels fantastic. Yes, every time I've been called a sex symbol, it has felt the best.
So you're a sex symbol. Wait, that's
yeah,
not
I am.
Oh, is that? Wait a second.
It better be
No,
me.
that question couldn't have been for me. That was not for me, guys. That was for Cate, okay? Don't ruin Cate's moment here.
I like that you're so confused about it, though. You're like, sex symbol and role model for women. Who is he talking about? Because it's equally likely that it's the two of us.
The chat brought it up. It wasn't me. Three people in the chat said it was. They said it might have been for me. I don't think it was for me. I'm telling you, a role model for women.
You guys go fuck yourselves.
But yeah, I think that I think women look up to you for sure. I've talked, and in fact, I know for sure because some of the women I've talked to recently, who I mentioned that you'd be involved with, kind of what I'm doing with the PLO Death Squad, said that they're big fans. They look up to you. So I think is it
called the PLO Death Squad? Because that is the best name ever.
That's what it's called, PLO Death Squad. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah,
with the swords, this sword emoji on iPhone. Yeah.
Oh, that's really great. Yeah, good choice.
We're building the fucking Death Squad, coming to lay waste to the world of PLO. It's amazing. God, I can't wait. This idea is gonna. But what I've realized, Cate, someone I want to ask you about is that I feel like there's a lot of women out there that don't really have a hub. A lot of women I talk to, they're just looking for a community of other women to be a part of, to talk to get better at poker with. And why do you think something like that doesn't exist? Because I don't know. I haven't seen something like that exist. And I've talked to numerous women who I said, hey, if I started something like this, would you guys be interested in? They're like, fuck yeah, I'm in. Mm-hmm. And made me realize that it just seems like the women of poker could be not even like the main name, but just women that like poker, play poker, that need someone to get better with, could be brought together in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've thought about in the past and I think would be useful. It's always... I think the reason it hasn't existed before is probably just that there are very few women in poker. And so when you're trying to form a group of people to talk hands with and stuff and study with, you want people who are ideally in the same region as you, but more importantly, just at the same skill level and learning at roughly the same speed as you are. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise the group doesn't people aren't all getting something from it. And when you only have a pretty small number of women who are playing professionally and who are having success, it's kind of hard, just in a raw number sense, to find a group of women to study poker with. But it's something that actually Jamie Kerstetter and I have talked about in the past, and I think that she has attempted to do in the past before I got into poker.
If you say I should, I will make it happen, because I found that bringing people together as a community, even with different skill levels, it can still be very beneficial. There's still ways to get value out of everything. But I'm telling you, I've talked with some of these women. This woman from India, I was talking with her a bunch. She's like, yeah, I'm just trying to, I work on my game a bunch and I play when I'm not at my job, but I don't really have anybody else to talk to. I think this opportunity would be great. And I'm like, man, this is the third or fourth story I feel like I've heard about this. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to be the woman. If no one's going to do it, it's like PLO. No one's going to do it for PLO. I just kind of do it. So.
Hey, I'm excited about it because it benefits me.
Yeah. Yeah. Take a couple more questions, guys. Let's see what else we got out there. What else on your mind? Anything else on your mind, Catherine, Cate?
No. I don't think so. There's nothing else that I was dying to talk about.
Ready for the 25K for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to James' place after this, and I think just like study and watch videos for a few hours and go to bed really early and just be well rested and stuff.
What's how many days we looking at for this?
For the 25K?
Hmm?
It's 2 days. So hopefully it's 2 days.
Is it gonna be on Twitch?
I don't know, actually. It's possible. I know that they live stream some tables. I don't know if they're doing it for this tournament.
Oh, well, they should. Is it the highest buy-in tournament there?
No. They also have a 100K and a 250K.
Fucking Christ. Okay.
Yeah. They're not screwing around. They've got some real tournaments here.
Wow. Did you see that tweet? Okay, I made a tweet recently about these high rollers. And it seems like I don't know if it's like for tournament players, but to me, I'd like to follow along with who's doing well in the high roller tournaments. But it seems like there's a 10K high roller, a 20K high roller, 25K high roller, a 8,000, 75. There's so many of these 25Ks, 10Ks, and they're called high rollers that to me, it's been very difficult for me to sort of follow along with who's doing well because there's just so many now. And is it the same for other tournament players that are interested in who's doing well too, or do you feel like it could be done a little differently?
You mean just like with the naming makes it hard to like figure out what's important, or
right? It's kind of for me. It's just I see that down the PCA they had like 5 high rollers. I'm like, well, who's the high roller? Is it everyone the high? I want to know who the high roller is. I see 5 guys winning it. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like 2 different ideas. Like I think that the trend toward naming more and more things high rollers is probably a little bit silly. I've seen like $2,000 events that are called high rollers. I think that if you're into tournament poker and sort of follow what's going on, it's not that hard to figure out which are the actual tournaments that you want to see results for, and you can just like look those up. So I don't think that I haven't felt like it makes it harder for me to find information that I'm interested in.
Okay.
But I don't know, Poker News covers most of the actual high rollers.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of wondering for myself as a fan of poker, not necessarily watching tournaments or paying attention to tournaments. Like for me, it's just a little bit tougher. So chat, we got a weird chat today, guys. I don't know where you weird people came from. I don't know if you guys are coming from Mark Lang's or you guys have been on Twitch too long or something, but y'all are real weird, man. And I love you weird people, but today y'all extra weird. So
I'm so glad that I never have chat open during these because I just couldn't be GTO.
Yeah, these weird fucks. I love them though, kind of. But yeah, you're right. Probably not. Are you plans for any more tats? I'm regulating shit here. Hold on, Warren G about to hit the streets here. I'm just gonna regulate things real quick in here. I have to click twice. But yeah, any plans for more tats for you?
Not anything like soon. I don't have anything planned. Every time I get a tattoo, my mother just loses it. So I tried to be selective about it. Yeah, but if I get inspired, I'll probably do it again and irritate her.
Yeah,
she knows my feelings.
I'm ready for another tattoo. That's pretty much.
You don't have any tattoos, do you?
I have one tattoo.
What is it?
It's on my body. Watch. Oh, you see it?
No.
Well, you can't. I never show it, but it's on my body. See.
I literally can't.
Perfect.
Where is it? Just okay. Whatever.
It's on my wrist. See right here.
Oh, okay. I can see it now. Yeah. Okay. What does it say?
Can't tell you.
Is it a girl's name?
No, I've never said it on stream.
Oh,
Can't
okay.
tell.
Fair
Never
enough.
said it. I won't say it. But I'm gonna get a tattoo that says GTO. And I might get. I'm serious. I'm all in. I'm all in on GTO for the rest of my life. The GTO club, GTO. I'm all in on GTO for the rest of my life.
It makes sense. It's basically your catchphrase. So
No, it's the way of life. No, stop it. It's not a catchphrase. It's a way of
the
life.
catchphrase. It's a great catchphrase, Joey. Good job. The way to pick a catchphrase.
Bang bang. Jeez, okay. It's a way of life, Cate. All right. Don't disrespect my way of life. Damn it. All right, fine. Last thing from the chat. It says degen for life. No, it doesn't. All right, give a message to Mike Dentale. If he's only going to watch one thing, if I'm going to put something on Twitter cut out from this podcast, Cate, and you want to say, deliver a message to Mike Dentale, you want him to see your face, feel your passion, feel your energy, and feel your desire to take him down, what would you say to him?
I would say I don't really care about Mike Dentale, honestly. I don't think about him except when he comes across my path. And if you want a soundbite, I gave you plenty earlier about him being a shit person who I would sooner cut off fingers than have sex with.
Thank you, Cate. Thank you. Man, I can't wait for this heads-up match. Guys, you could be able to watch the heads-up match. What's the date? March 24th?
March 19th.
Okay, March 19th. And be able to watch the match March 19th. Cate, you can follow her on Twitter at Cate Hall. It's a little bit of political mix with a little bit of poker mix. 25K event. She's playing tomorrow. Main event in Australia. Anything else we can look forward to from the Twitter spheres from you?
Stay tuned for some of these projects that I am not ready to announce yet, but there will be some stuff. There'll be some interesting stuff coming up next month.
Yeah, I'm excited about those too. But guys, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with Doug Polk. If you guys are looking for some other videos to watch, go check out my PLO videos where I talk way more strategy about PLO than I ever said I would do. And I totally contradict myself with my old things when I said I would never talk strategy. So that's it. Much love, everybody. Peace out. That's it. I got nothing else.